So this week I thought we'd do a marble and a cube project. They're not exceedingly hard to make, but they're a great little novelty item. So if you want one but don't want to make it, you can look below. I'll give you the link to my Etsy store and you can buy one there. Or if you prefer written instructions instead of a video, I'll leave a link to my blog below and you'll find them there as well. So let's get started.
I decided to use scrap 2x3 I had in the shop laying around. I selected a few pieces from this and began by cutting a 1/4 inch off one edge, removing the rounded corners. I then set the table saw to 1 1/4 inches and cut off the second side. This allowed me to have a square piece of wood to work with. I cut all the pieces to this dimension. I then flipped over the board onto one of the freshly cut sides and ran it through, removing the final 1/4 inch and coming to a final size of 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch. With the board squared, I now needed to cut them into cubes. To do this, I set a stop block on the chop saw, using my board as a reference. The stop block will allow me to make repeated cuts, keeping the dimensions exactly as I need.
Normally this would be the scene where I show you me cutting a bunch of blocks on the chop saw. But the camera stopped recording, so you'll have to take my word for it.
Since I'm doing a batch of these, I set up a jig for the drill press that allows me to repeatedly drill a hole through the center. I'm careful not to go more than halfway through to avoid tear out. Using a small stick, a screwdriver in this case, I cleared all the holes and the debris left over from the drill press. Next, I filled a tub with hot water and placed them all in it, making sure a towel was below it so not to spill on the table. I'll let these sit for the next 24 hours before the next step. Using a small socket, 1/4 inch drive, I press the marbles in with the vise. After pressing all the marbles into the blocks, I lay them out on a towel to dry for the next 24 hours. The next step is to sand them. To do this, I used a belt sander with 120 grit sandpaper on it. To finish sand them, I used an orbital sander with 400 grit sandpaper on it to smooth all surfaces out. Finally, it's time to finish them. To do this, I blew them off with using the air compressor, and then applied 2 coats of teak oil to them.
And we're done. Got about 27 of these now. Took about an hour of shop time, not including the wait times we had. Great little project, fun to do. Great to leave around. Put them on your desk at work or on the mantle at home. And a lot of people will wonder, how'd you do it? And that really is the question. So if you have any comments or questions, leave them below and I'll happily answer them.